Greetings, I am the Tepid Coder. Today I want to go over some things that I left out in previous videos. There aren't a ton of things here, but what I think I want to do is at least go over some things about pointers that I forgot to mention. They aren't really things that people use very often, but they're worth bringing up. Also, there's something else I wanted to mention here. Left myself some notes, so I might pause from time to time. Right, also something about a conditional statement left out. So, first of all, let's go with the conditional statement thing. One thing you can do, before I mentioned you can have, like, if some case is true, like it's not 0, right? 1 is not 0, so it's true, and maybe 0. So that won't happen, because this has to be true, and that has to be true. They aren't both true, so it'll fail. What you could do is you could say if 1 or 0, like if this case is true, or this one's true, then it'll execute. Now, when you have ors, I like to wrap things in extra parentheses, just to make it very clear, like this and this, or that, right? If you have another or, same thing. Because it could be, you know, let's see here. Like this whole thing has to be true, or this whole thing right now. Which there's nothing actually here. So, sometimes what you might have is like, how do I word this? You have this, or this, and this, right? 0 and 1 and 2. So, when you wrap it like this, it's kind of easier to tell this whole thing is the condition, this whole thing is a condition, and it's this or this. You know, I'll run it. Either 1 and 2 are both true, or 0 and 1 and 2. All true. Right? That's basically what I'm saying. Else neither 1 and 2 nor 1 and 2 and 3 are true. So let's do that. What do they call it? Oh, I just called it A. Okay. So one of the two cases were true. Either 1 and 2 are both true, or 0 and 1 and 2 are all true. So that's how that would work with the or. You just say, you know, this collection of cases, or even just one case, or this collection of cases are just one case. So that's kind of nice. Anyway, I'm trying to think what else. So things about pointers I wanted to talk about. So let's say I have an array of something. I have an array of characters, right? So I'm just going to say immutable array. It's not const. So C array. Let's call it string. So this is only a test. So one thing you can do here is you can point to a specific place in the string. So, remember when I'm doing this assignment here, this is a char array, right? The type is char, and there's an array of those. So char array. And the compiler is treating it like it's a char pointer when you use it. When I mentioned this, that's what it's treating it as. So I can say this char type, char pointer to p, equals this. So it's going to point to the same address. The fact that I'm making a constant just means that I cannot manipulate the data inside of this using this variable, because this variable is a constant pointer to it. It doesn't actually affect this really in any way. Anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, like before, you can print out a certain character of the array, right? Let's say I want to print an I, right? You have 0, 1, 2. So it's the second element of the array. I could do something like sign C for a character, and I can say C array string. Oops, string. So keep in mind that if you have a type pointer, and you put a pointer in front of the actual variable, it's going to remove this, and you'll just have this right here, just the type. So if I remove this, I'm getting the first element. Okay. The other thing you could do is you can say, you know, subscript 0. So I'm getting this. Like I said, I wanted the I, so 0, 1, 2. So let's go with that. I'll print the I out this way first. and I'll start using that pointer I made. I guess I'll just do this. Okay, prints an I. Probably kind of hard to see, but it's right there. Anyway, obviously I can use P the same way, because they're the same type, and they're pointing to the same address, so I'll do that. Keep in mind, this is pointing to this. This is type char array, which is just treated as a char pointer. This is a char pointer, which points to the same address. So, if I access the second member, it's going to do the same thing. Yeah, I'll just, you know what? It's kind of bothering me. I want to actually call it test. So it's also printing I. Anyway, okay. So, next thing I want to do is I want to show a different way of doing the same thing. So, you can do something called pointer arithmetic, where you add to a pointer. You can also subtract from a pointer. You can subtract one pointer from another, but you can't add two pointers together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say p plus 2, which is what this is doing. I'm going to wrap it in parentheses. Whatever address that is, I'm going to dereference it. So you can imagine I have something like char pointer to C-array string plus 2. That's what this is, this whole thing. And then I'm dereferencing it. So this char pointer just becomes a char at the address C-array plus 2. So let's try that out. This right here should do the same thing as this. In fact, I'll show you first, but okay, so it still prints I. It still works. But I want to show you that this and this syntax can actually kind of relate to each other. So if I say ampersand, I'm referencing it, p, position 2, this right here is the same thing as saying, say, C-array string plus 2. Those are both referring to the same thing, the address of the second element. So right now we have the 0th element plus 2 elements away, so it's the 3rd element. So if I put 0 here, it'd be the 1st element, 1 second, 2 would be the 3rd. So these mean the exact same thing. Let's see here. I'll do this. I'll make a function called print character, just to make this really obvious. P. Right. I could call it like P character or something, but I'm not going to. Do the same thing I was doing over there. Print sign C with line break. V character. Alright, I'll put it in little apostrophes. Okay, and we reference it. Bam. Okay. So now, I want to show both. So this will print a character at the address you specify. The address I'm going to specify is going to be P2. That's actually the element at that address. So ampersand. So I'm referencing the second. And then what I'm going to do is the other thing I showed, which is this right here. It means the same thing. Okay. I'm going to get into this function. It's getting a pointer, and it's dereferencing it like this. So it removes the pointer, and it just becomes char type. Okay, and that char type is being printed right here. There it is. So all those are the same way of doing something. This is sometimes a little bit more convenient to use than this, I feel like. What else? Let's say I want to know how far into the string this character is. So right now I know it's like the 3rd element. What I could do is subtract the address of this character from the address of this character. What would that give me? Let's say this is 0, 1, 2, right? This is offset by 0, this is offset by 1, this is offset by 2. So if I subtract this from this, it should be 2. Let's try that. So, oops. And typically we use like a size t for that kind of, that length within an array, like an offset. Let's call it offset. How far offset is it? Equals minus p. So this is good, stupid, because we're saying how far is the 3rd element from the 1st element, right? But I'll make it make more sense in a second, because I'll move the pointer around. Let's say that element at P2 is elements away from the start. Now, you might be wondering why I'm using an unsigned 64-bit integer for a size t and casting. Typically in C you'd cast like this, right? In C++ you can static cast, which will kind of let you know if there's going to be something wrong at compile time. So I tend to use that instead. You can't really use this in C. You have to do it the other way I showed. The reason I'm doing this is because someone might be compiling this for a 32-bit application, and I could be forcing it to use 64 bits so it formats correctly. Anyway, that's not really a big deal. But I do expect this, since I'm compiling it for a 64-bit architecture, to be 64 bits and unsigned. So it just really shouldn't be doing anything in my case, but if someone's compiling it for x86, this will do something. And make sure that it's putting the right type of variable in here. I think something else I wanted to say. I'm going to run it for now. Alright, I didn't, two things. Standard int.h, so I can actually use int64t, and int types.h, so I can actually use that format specifier. Okay, come on. There it is. Anyway, so you can see it's 2 elements from the start, obviously. So if you add 2 to the start, you'll get it. So from 0, you add 1 on the second element. Nice, scam call. My favorite. It's a great time for it, too. Where was I? Right, so this is the offset, right? It's the third element, but the offset is 2, because 0 plus 2 will bring you to the third element. 0 is the first, 1's the second, 2's the third. Anyway, what I want to do now is a more realistic thing. So instead of saying that p equals this, right, starting at the beginning of the array, I could say it equals 2. I'm already starting on the I right here. And then what I could do is I could say something like, I don't know, let's print a character, let's print another I. The other I is over here. So I have to go forward 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2. So I'm doing the 0th, I'm on here, so I'm on the first to be the second to be 2, and 3 would be over here. So 3, like that. So this right here is using this variable over here. It's printing offset 2. So 0, 1, 2, it's printing the I. Right? And this one is using this variable, which starts at offset 2 of this. So 0, 1, 2. We're starting on the I. I don't know why it's grabbing the whole damn thing. I don't want the whole thing, I just want the I. Okay, anyway, we're starting here. And from here, we're going up 3. So 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be a different I. So that should work. And now we're going to look at, how about the offset? Instead of how far is this, third element from the first element, I'm just going to say, array string here. So how far is this whole thing? In fact, I'll do position 3. How far is this I from the start of the buffer right here? That's what I'm saying, because this points to the start of the buffer. This does not point to the start of the buffer. It points to here. So we'll see how far in that is. It should be, let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 minus 0 is just 5. Its offset is 5. Okay. So 5 elements from the start. They both print an I. Okay. Anyway, that's kind of useful. And I'm going to give an example in the next video I do, where I'm going to load a file, I'm going to do some parsing in it, and it's really going to cover a lot of these concepts that I've mentioned so far in all the videos, and I think it should help cement some understanding of how to do some of these things. I'm also going to have to add in some dynamic memory allocation for that, which will be interesting. So that'll be kind of a good new concept introduction, and also a good review of previous concepts. But that's going to do it for today. I'll catch you guys later.